Do you think that once the police arrive, everything will be safe? Do you believe dialing 911 is enough to be saved? And do you trust that if there had been 7 cries for help before this, the system would have acted before it was too late? But what if I told you? All of that had already happened, and she still died. Right in front of the police. Right in front of her children. Just a few steps away from the door that could have saved her.
A man found injured in the same house a Copperas Cove woman was found dead in has been arrested himself in connection to the case. 37-year-old Kevin Frazier is charged with murder and aggravated assault. On April the 7th, police in Copperas Cove responded to a home on Hobby Road after someone from the residence called 911 and then hung up. When they got there, they found 33-year-old Destiny Carey dead from a gunshot wound. Frazier was also suffering from a gunshot wound but survived. After an investigation, police have now charged Frazier with Carey's death. He's in the Coryell County Jail tonight with a bond of $1.7 million.
Her name was Destiny Jasmine Carey, 33 years old, mother of 5, a nurse, a woman who built her own fashion brand from nothing, someone who inspired, who helped, who loved her family, all while hiding every fracture in silence. Until the afternoon of the 7th of April, 2022, a 911 call came through. No words, only screams. And then, a police officer kicked the door open, just as the gunfire began to erupt. When the officers crossed the threshold, Destiny was already on the ground, motionless, blood pooling across the floor. And the man holding the gun was the very one who had once sworn to protect her for life. But this was not just a murder, it was a warning. A warning about toxic relationships, about the failure of the system, and about the terrible price we pay when we ignore the desperate signals victims are trying to send. If you're watching this, don't look away. Because Destiny's story isn't just a tragedy, it's a mirror of thousands of others you may never hear about. Hit, like, and subscribe so you don't miss the cases that shake the world to its core. And drop a comment to let me know where you're watching from, because who knows, one story you share could be the warning that saves a life.
You drinking my drink, by the way.
Kevin!
It ain't no
Find my drink.
I done walked around this whole room, we ain't nobody.
Hey, y'all. I'm trying to see, do this look right on me? Bye! Dang!
Before her name became tied to a bloody 911 call, Destiny Jasmine Carey was spoken of with admiration, not sorrow. She lived in Killeen, Texas, a 3-year-old mother of 5 and already a grandmother to 1 small child. But instead of settling into rest or chasing a quiet dream, Destiny threw herself into life like a storm, fierce, full of perp, O's, and relentlessly moving forward. From design to operations, from training staff to hosting events, Destiny did it all. Beyond that, she opened entrepreneurship classes for Black women, sharing branding toolkits, customer growth strategies, and teaching others how to build careers of their own. But behind the image of a woman who seemed unbreakable was a back carrying far too much weight, the strain of finances, the burden of raising children, and struggles no one else could see. And that's when Kevin Frazier entered the picture. A 7-year-old former soldier, he had served 12 years in the military, including 2 deployments to Iraq. On paper, he looked like the ideal husband, strong, disciplined, experienced, and someone who understood sacrifice. They married, though no one knows exactly when. There were no public wedding photos, no social media posts about how we met. It was as if their relationship was deliberately kept quiet, unusually so. No one in the family spoke much about their romance. No one really knew what bound them together. But everyone saw one thing clearly. Destiny never stopped trying for her family. Whether in Georgia, where her sister lived, or in Texas, where her businesses operated, she was always present for important moments, always smiling brightly, always saying, "I'm okay."
You gonna cut me off like that? I'm gonna drink my crown and coke on that
Crazy, girl, crazy.
forgetting sometimes. You see this right here? I got my drink in my cup because she be forgetting sometimes. You are a real nigga. Hey, I hold this lip. Look here, I hold it. Hey, I love this lady to death. You feel me?
Bye, y'all.
I love her to death. It is.
Every tragedy has its warning bells. The problem is, no one listens until it's too late. Destiny was strong, intelligent, independent, but that didn't make her immune to control. Because control doesn't begin with fists. It begins with silence, with suspicious stares, with the constant, suffocating question, "Where are you?" And those warning signs were there, clear and repeated, for an entire year before her death. According to reports from the city of Copperas Cove, there had been 7 separate 911 calls made from Destiny's home within just 12 months. 7 times. Not once. Not 3. 7 times someone felt afraid enough to call the police. And then, on the 6th of April 2022, just 1 day before the murder, police received an official report of domestic violence at the very same address, 1000 Hobby Road. The report was explicit: assault with bodily injury, family violence. 1 day, 1 final warning. But how did it end? No one was arrested. No protective order was issued. No safeguards were put in place. The police came, and then they left. And just 24 hours later, Destiny lay dead on the floor, right by her front door. And that wasn't all. The suspect, Kevin Frazier, was far from a man with a clean record. Police files from Killeen in 2010 showed he had previously been arrested for assault, for violating a court order, and for refusing to comply with a protective order. Which means this: he had been warned and ignored it. Police had intervened before only to back away. The system had chances and missed them. The night before the murder, Destiny's sister, Demetria, received a call. Destiny didn't cry, but Demetria later said, "I could hear something in her voice. Something wasn't right. She didn't say it all, but I knew she was terrified." If you've ever felt that something was wrong, you were right. Destiny sent out her signals for help through her eyes, through her calls, through the silence heavy with fear. But when no one acted, those signals finally turned into gunfire. There are days when you wake up and you just know something is going to happen. Not a vague hunch, but a sharp, undeniable feeling. I'm being watched. I'm not safe. I've lost control of everything. For Destiny, that feeling began on the 5th of April. A co-worker remembered. She arrived later than usual. She was unusually quiet. Her phone kept buzzing, but she didn't answer. At times, she just stared into the distance, as if hearing something no one else could. Was there a message she didn't want to open? A threat she couldn't bring herself to share? We don't know. But everyone could sense one thing clearly. She was retreating into herself. April 6, 4 hours before her death. Police received a domestic violence call from her own address, 1000 Hobby Road. The report was clear signs of assault, signs of injury. But when officers arrived, no one was arrested, no one was removed, no protective order was issued. The call was closed out as a typical family dispute, but no one realized. The victim of tomorrow had already called the police today. The morning of the 7th of April, the day of fate. Destiny woke up as usual, but this time she called her sister Demetria in Georgia. Demetria recalled. Her voice was calm, too calm. The kind of calm you hear only when someone is trying to hide the fact that they're trembling. I asked her, "Are you okay?" And she only said, "Yeah, don't worry." Demetria didn't hear arguing. What she heard was a silence heavy as stone. A long pause, a sharp breath, a faint whisper, "I just need a little time." That was the last call between the two sisters. 12:25 p.m. the 911 call. Dispatchers received a call from Destiny's number. No words. Only a piercing scream tearing through the phone, the kind of sound 911 operators never forget. Seconds later, the line went dead. Dispatch immediately issued a priority alert to the address. A nearby patrol unit broke from its route and sped toward Hobby Road. Meanwhile, inside the house, Destiny's fate was being counted down second by second. She didn't run deeper inside. She didn't look for a hiding place. She ran toward the door she knew police would soon be coming through. She was fighting to survive. Not by striking back, but by trying to reach the hand of someone who could save her. But the gunshots rang out before the door could be opened. 12:25 p.m., the 7th of April 2022. A call came into the 911 dispatch center in Copperas Cove, Texas. No greeting, no address. Only one sound, a scream choked, desperate, tearing through the line. And then, silence. The dispatcher froze for just a few seconds, then immediately flagged the call as life-threatening emergency urgent response. The nearest patrol unit was sent racing to 1000 Hobby Road, the source of the call. A quiet suburban neighborhood. Tiled rooftops, trimmed lawns. Nothing to suggest that, in moments, it would become the scene of a shooting. The officer approached the front door. No arguing voices, no movement at the windows. He knocked firmly. "Police, open the door." A man's voice came from inside. "Hold on." The officer kept his hand on his holster, following protocol. But then another scream tore through the silence. It wasn't an argument. It wasn't shouting in anger. It was the desperate cry of someone fighting for their life. In that instant, the officer knew, if he waited any longer, someone was going to die. The door burst open, and gunfire erupted. The very instant the door was kicked in, multiple shots exploded from inside. Not one, not two, but a barrage, as if someone was firing wildly into the air, desperate to seize control of the moment. A bullet tore through the glass panel beside the door, ripping the officer's pant leg and spraying shards into his skin. But he pushed forward, weapon drawn, eyes scanning fast. Right ahead, Destiny lay collapsed on the floor, blood spreading across the tiles. No movement, no response. Beside her, less than 3 meters away, a man lay slumped on the living room floor, his body covered in blood, his hand still close to the gun. It was Kevin Frazier. 12:32 p.m. Officers rushed to save her. There was no time to think. One officer kicked the gun away, cuffed Kevin, and dropped to his knees to perform CPR on Destiny. She had no pulse. Her eyes stared blankly, and with every second that passed, it felt like a knife twisting deeper into the hearts of those who watched. 12:36 p.m. The ambulance arrived. Paramedics rushed in, taking over CPR, injecting adrenaline, but there was no neurological response. 13 minutes after the 911 call, she was pronounced dead at the scene. Destiny Jasmine Carey, 33 years old, mother of 5, shot to death just as police reached her front door. And that's when the questions came pouring in. Why was Kevin shot too? Who pulled the trigger on him? How was he still coherent enough to interact with police afterward? But the most haunting truth was this. Destiny wasn't trying to flee. She was running toward the police, running toward safety. She died just a few steps away from salvation. In the 3 interviews that followed at the scene, in the hospital, and later at the station, Kevin gave 3 different accounts. None of them matched. None aligned with the medical examiner's report. As one investigator put it, what Kevin says and what Destiny's body tells us are 2 completely different stories. But no matter how many times his story changed, the blood on the floor, the bullet in her heart, and the scene at her front door, they do not lie. Destiny died with her hand still reaching for the police. But Kevin Frazier lived. He was taken to Carl R. Darnell Army Medical Center at Fort Hood, suffering multiple wounds to his abdomen. No one could say for certain who fired those shots, himself, Destiny, or an accident in the struggle. Police never clarified, and Kevin never told the truth. 3 statements, 3 different stories. At the scene, Kevin claimed, "I don't remember what happened. Everything was chaotic." At the hospital, he said, "I was only defending myself. She had the gun." At the station, he insisted, "I was attacked first." But every version contradicted the others, and more importantly, all of them clashed with forensic evidence. The autopsy revealed Destiny was shot at close range, the bullet traveling front to back, consistent with her running toward the door, not facing an attacker. Kevin was arrested, and formally charged. Once his condition was stabilized, he was taken into custody and hit with 2 major charges: murder, first-degree homicide, aggravated assault on a public servant. His bail was set at $1.75 million, a clear sign the court viewed him as extremely dangerous and a high flight risk. Kevin was arrested and formally charged. Once his condition was stabilized, he was taken into custody and hit with 2 major charges: murder, first-degree homicide, aggravated assault on a public servant. His bail was set at $1.75 million, a clear sign the court viewed him as extremely dangerous and a high flight risk. High Sadity Boutique, once a symbol of empowerment and entrepreneurship, was forced to close its doors. Hundreds of dresses, shoes, signs, and documents were liquidated just to cover moving expenses and funeral costs. And from that moment on, a woman who had once sustained 6 lives became nothing more than a name on a death certificate. After the gunfire came the questions: who pulled the trigger? Why was Kevin wounded too? How could a man with military training fail to control a situation in his own home? Police interrogated Kevin Frazier 3 times at the scene, in the hospital, and at headquarters. The investigators' conclusion, written plainly in the indictment: the suspect's statements are inconsistent, contradictory, and do not align with forensic evidence. After the gunfire came the questions: who pulled the trigger? Why was Kevin wounded too? How could a man with military training fail to control a situation in his own home? Police interrogated Kevin Frazier 3 times at the scene, in the hospital, and at headquarters. The investigators' conclusion, written plainly in the indictment: the suspect's statements are inconsistent, contradictory, and do not align with forensic evidence. The indictment and bail. Kevin was charged with murder for killing his wife in front of responding officers, aggravated assault on a public servant for firing at a police officer in the line of duty. Bail was set at $1.75 million. The court noted the suspect posed a high danger, lacked control over his actions, and was considered a flight risk. The case still awaits trial. To this day, no official date has been set for the final hearing. The defense remains silent, prosecutors decline to comment, and the community waits, hoping for a verdict that might, in some way, bring peace to the senseless death of a woman who never deserved to die. But one thing is certain: Kevin Frazier cannot lie forever, and the evidence will speak for the wife he killed as she was running toward life. Destiny Jasmine Carey did everything right. She worked, raised her children, built a business, created jobs for her community. She called 911. She confided in her sister. She tried to step away from a dangerous home. And in her final moments, she wasn't running away from justice, she was running toward it. But the system never ran toward her. 7 warnings, not a single effective action. 7 times police were called to that address. 1 domestic violence report just a day before her death. A man with a criminal history, prior arrests, and violations still allowed to live with the very woman he had abused. And then, when the gunfire erupted, there was nothing left to fix. Not everyone survives to tell their story. Destiny died while doing everything a victim of abuse is told to do. She wasn't killed because she was weak. She was killed because a system that should have been strong was full of holes when she needed it most. And what about you? If you're watching this and see something familiar, if you recognize yourself in any part of this story, do not stay silent. Call, speak, ask for help, and if you're not a victim, be the one who stands up. Because sometimes one moment of attention, one action, one word of advice can save a mother, a child, and stop the next name from appearing in the headlines. If Destiny's story made you think, share it. Not for the views, but because there are too many like her screaming in silence. Hit like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Tell me where you're watching from, because you might be the reason someone out there is still alive.
Hey, where? Mine ain't missing no damn straw. This is the extra drink that I got. No, it's 3 drinks. Where's the other 3rd drink? Remember we bought 3 drinks?
Yeah, but that's
okay, where my drink at?
that's what it costs.
It's not in the car because I went downstairs.
You ain't went in the
When
car.
I went downstairs to go
You
get
ain't went
the
in the
key.
car though. You went downstairs to the desk, not to the car.
Key, my ass. Get the fuck on, because that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when I went and got the damn key to the room. I went downstairs for my drink. That's why he gave me another $30 off, because he seen I was drinking.
That drink right there.
That's not what I was drinking.
You
So
only-
where
you
my
only
drink
two
go?
drinks, one in the car right now.
Kevin, this room ain't that big. Go find my drink.
That's me. It's only two.
Bye. Go over there somewhere and go find my drink.
Listen, you brought 2 drinks in here.
Joy, Lord, Jesus. Can this man go find my drink?
That's me. Well, that shit in the car now. You drinking my drink, by the way.
Kevin,
It ain't no.
find my drink.
I done walk around this whole room. We ain't nobody.
Hey, y'all. I'm trying to see do this look right on me. Bye. Dang,
Dang, look.
She's like, you slapped her. Online, can you find my drink?
Your drink is in the car.
No, it ain't. My drink is not in the car. Seriously. No, for real, where my drink at?
Babe, you're drinking it. Seriously, all jokes aside. Like it's a.
No, it's not in the car. Okay, that's not your drink, and I'm finna drink this drink because it ain't yours.
It's an extra drink in the
Can y'all tell this man it's not his drink, and I'm finna drink this drink?
Hey, not this man.
I'm telling y'all, this is not his drink.
All jokes aside.
Y'all finna go out to eat real quick. Concert got canceled. I think this is what I was gonna wear. I had to throw this on at the last fucking minute. Last minute. I was not trying to wear this at all. But, I mean, sometimes... Y'all see, I had to beat him up on camera. Knock his ass out. That's how you gotta do him, y'all. You got to beat your man. Like, that's just what it is. I'll just play, y'all. Don't beat him. You're gonna be in jail like me. Don't touch him. All they do is call the police. My belly button's so ugly, y'all. Don't talk about it. So, did y'all go down there? Did y'all go to South by Southwest? Because, I could have been in South by Southwest. No, I'm not done. I'm nowhere near done. You gonna see done in a minute. Nowhere near done. That gotta be the collar. Nowhere near done. I'm definitely not gonna put this shit on. I ain't even got started for real, for real. I'm about to get started. I'm finna turn up in a minute though. Know that. It's over already? That can't be over. Ain't no way this shit over. Thank you. Thank y'all. I was gonna put on some heels, but shit. Where my heels at? Kevin, you know where my silver heels went? You didn't even pack all my stuff. I don't even see them silver heels. I don't see them nowhere. Y'all, I ain't got shit going on. I just came over here to see what y'all was doing. That's it. Y'all see they didn't cancel the concert down here. I came down here for a whole concert. A whole concert. A whole concert. Didn't get to go to the concert. It got canceled. So I'm just gonna go out to eat. My room is pretty though. It's super pretty. My room got rooms. What is this on the floor? Alright, y'all. Y'all be safe tonight. Y'all have fun. And I will talk to you guys later. Alligators. I ain't got that much going on. much going on. Goodbye.